Hello, this is the first topic of class 12th computer science and the name is function. First we will discuss about the definition of the function. Functions are the subprograms that perform a specific task, or you can say function are the small modules and in each module you can perform a specific task. Now here what actually is the meaning of function? When we are writing a program, when we are developing a program, we have to write the complete program in one main program. As we have discussed in class 11th, maximum programs we were designing in the main frame or in one go. So it will sometime we face a difficulty in that way that when we have to modify or update, we have to go through the complete program. So each and every language gives us a facility of the function through which we can divide the small program or the big program into the small codes or into the small parts. For example, I'll just tell you, if you have to design a mark sheet of your school, so it will be difficult to design a mark sheet where all the subjects will be in one screen or in one Excel sheet or in one page. Instead of that, we will design a mark sheet separately in different module. For the primary section different, for the secondary section different, and for the senior secondary different. In this way, what will be the benefit of it? Suppose some problem is there in the primary section, so we can update or we can edit the primary section. It won't affect anything into the secondary and senior secondary. In similar way, when you update it, so in that time, it will not affect to the primary section as well as to the senior secondary section. It means that we can edit each and every module separately. Once you see the output, whatever the output is there, after that, if any problem is there, we can go to the particular module and that module can be edited and the problem can be sorted out. Now, there are different types of functions in Python. The first one is built-in function. The first one is built-in function. The second one is functions defined in modules. And the third one is a user-defined function. The first built-in functions are those functions which are automatically loaded when you load the language. It means when you start a Python. When you start Python, automatically your Python interpreter will load all the necessary functions. So these are the built-in functions. For example, input function. In class 11th, we have used the input function. Here also, I'll just give you the example of this one. Also the length function through which you can calculate the length. These functions can be used directly. It means without any additional job. The second type of functions we have, the functions defined in the module. As we discussed in class 11, some functions we have to use with import statement. And with import statement, you have to import that particular module from the library into your program. For example, this sqrt function is there. This sqrt function cannot be used directly. It has to be imported first. How you will import? Very simple. As we have discussed in 11th, you have to write a import statement. After writing import statement, you can use that particular function. How we will use these functions, once again, we will discuss later on. Then the last one is a user-defined function. In user-defined function, this function is, these are the functions which are defined by the user. So very simple definition of user-defined function is the functions defined by the user. Now, what is the need to define the function by the user when we have already the functions in our Python language? So what happens, sometime we need some more functions which are not included in the Python, and we want to create some functions with our own. So in that case, the Python provides us a facility of a user-defined function. So in this topic, we are mainly focusing about the user-defined functions. It means this whole function is about the user-defined functions. What the two different types of functions already we have discussed in class 11th, and some part we will discuss in later topic. So the definition is once again very simple: functions defined by the user, known as user-defined function. Now, what actually is the importance of the user-defined function? The first is reusability. What is the reusability? Once you define the body of the function, that can be called more than one time according to your desire. It means once you have defined the body, if you need the function to use it 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, you can call it. There is no foundation to use those functions. Now, just you see here, the second one is a modularity. Any complex problem can be divided into a small part. And this is a big, or you can say a great advantage of the function, that any complex problem can be divided into the different modules or in the different small parts. And these parts can be designed separately. And the third and important point or importance is that easy error correction and detection. As we have already discussed, that if we are designing a mark sheet into 3 different categories for primary, secondary, and senior secondary, if some problem is there in primary section, so directly you can go to the primary module and you can check the problems. If any problem is there, you just can edit that, and then there is no need to go through the secondary and senior secondary modules. It will save your time, as well as easily you can correct the problems. Again, the same thing will be happened for the rest of 2. If some problem is there in the secondary, you just go to the secondary module, modify it, and it will not affect to your senior secondary and primary modules. So when we are thinking about the function, the first we should keep in our mind that function is nothing. It's simply we are dividing a complex problem into the small parts, and each and every part will be designed separately as per the requirement of the user. Now, how we will define the function? Here we are discussing a simple example. I'll just explain to you how you will write a function. So here the first statement is DEF. This is a define. Its short form is DEF, and this one is a reserved word. Reserved word means you cannot change this one. This is a reserved word. Now, this sum is a user defined. This one can be taken, any name can be taken as per our requirement. Now, for the sum, in the body of this function, we are defining the functionality of this function. Functionality of this function. So what is the functionality? We are going to add 2 numbers. So first you input the value of a. As you know how to input. In integer input, enter first number, b, enter second number, then c equal to a plus b, print c. This is the first program of class 11. So you know how to write this program. Just I'm explaining you how you can write it through the function. Now, once you have defined the body of the function, it means this part, once you have defined, now we have to call it into the main function. Now remember, when we call it, it must be called through the same indentation from where you have written a defined function. As you know, now this will be the main program, or this will be the main part of the program. here we are calling the functions. How you will call the function? Just simply write the name of that function wherever you want to call it. Now you have written here some. What will happen now when you run it, when you execute it? This complete program, what you have written inside the body of this function, it will be called here and will be executed. Now what will happen when it will be executed? It will ask you enter the first number, enter the second number. You will enter the first number, suppose 5, second number, suppose 7. The total will be 12, and 12 will be printed through the print statement. Now again you have written sum, so same program will be executed again here. Again you have written sum, the same program will be executed here. So as per our definition, or as per the importance we have discussed before, its important feature of the function is its reusability. So once you have defined the body of the function, that can be reused. We have used 1 time, you have used 2 times, we have used here 3 times. You can use it 100 times, you can use it 200 times, you can use it 1000 times. There is no boundation. But what is the benefit? That this code will be written only once. It means this portion we have to write only once, and now we can call it again and again and again. So that's all. This is the small briefing about this function. And in the second video, I'll just give you a little more discussion about this particular function. Thank you.